The Taurus GX4 TORO, let's check it out. Guys, there are a lot of micronines that have been introduced over the past couple of years, and of course started out with the Sig P365 and bringing that really higher capacity in a very small package. I mean, this has really turned the market, and there's a lot of options out there. But Taurus introduced their GX4 back in May of 2021, and now they've introduced their TORO model, which is optics ready. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, I've not always been a big Taurus fan, but man, over the past few years, Taurus has really put out some fine quality firearms. And one of the things about the GX4 is it's budget priced, but it competes with any of the micronines out on the market. Now, this is a brand new pistol from Taurus, and we really appreciate Taurus for sending the GX4 TORO. It's strong like bull. Guys, the original GX4, when I did the review, there were a number of comments about two things. Number one, that it only had an 11-round magazine, no extended magazines. So with the TORO, they're already coming in with a 13+1 magazine in addition to your 11+1. But the second complaint was that it was not optics ready. And so here we have the TORO, and Taurus sent the Holosun 407K already installed on this handgun. And so now we have the red dot option and we have the extra magazine. And really the only complaint was that it wasn't competing with a lot of the current subcompact micronines. And guys, honestly, this little Taurus, one of the things about it is that the price is right. And that's one of the things about Taurus. They always come in with a good quality firearm for a budget price. There are some things about this particular firearm that actually exceed some of the others. And one of the big things, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, but there is a stainless steel chassis that is inside the polymer frame with rails that run all the way up to about here that really allow this to be very smooth shooting. I mean, it really allows the slide to function on that whole rail system. And then also their recoil system. Guys, this is just a very flat shooting firearm. Now let's go ahead and make sure the gun's unloaded, drop our magazine, check the chamber, and it's unloaded. Now this is one of those firearms to me that has really hit the market hard with those micro nines. Starting out with the Sig P365, you know, it kind of started this revolution. Taking a very small firearm with a decent round capacity, 10+1. But a lot of companies are coming in and they're upping that, and this is a 11+1 and then again 13+1. But the Sig does have other options for extended magazines. We have a striker fire pistol. It is a single action striker fire. It has a polymer frame, very well done. In fact, the texturing on here, you know, and we're seeing that on a lot of different firearms, but the texturing is just excellent. Not too aggressive, but it really gives you a bite when you're gripping it. Also, there is an undercut right here behind the slide. Now, with this, it gets your hand really up under the slide a lot more, and honestly, it reduces recoil quite a bit. It did with the original GX4, and this is really the same pistol except for just the optics cut. Of course, it does come with a cover plate as well, so you know you can switch that out. You can carry an optic if you want, or you can use the cover plate, either way. And it is a very thin handgun. Now, this K model of the 407, it definitely is one of the micro red dots, and to me, with a lot of these, you need that, otherwise it's going to hang over just a little bit. There are a number of different optic options, of course, for the GX4. Now this has front and rear cocking serrations. The finish on the slide is the gas nitride slide treatment. So it gives it a really matte finish, but it should hold up very well. We have front and rear cocking serrations, especially on these small little pistols. One thing that I love about having a red dot though is I actually use it a lot of times, for racking the slide, doing press checks. There is a black nitride barrel and it's 3 inches in length. Now they are using Glock compatible sights, front and rear. We have a blacked out rear sight and a white dot at the front. But bringing this in, it co-witnesses with the red dot. And I like that. It retains the back sight, which a lot of these guns just remove the back sight to get that optic toward the back. I love having that rear sight still attached. And yet, also, I can see right over it. I mean, it's just barely the ears, but you can see, just in case you have any kind of issues with your red dot. And of course, that will dictate what size red dot and how much it sticks up. But this goes in pretty deep into the slides, gets it low against the slide, and so it's going to be really great to get that sight right on target. And, really bringing this up, it was really easy to find the dot, which obviously if you're going to carry red dot, guys, you really need to practice to get that lined up so you can naturally find it. It also has a Teflon coated mag release, and it is switchable to the other side. You can just feel the quality. We have a slide stop. It does hold open on the last round. It does not have a magazine disconnect safety, which I like. Now we have a flat face trigger, some sort of a flat face. It does angle out, but when you're bringing it in, it definitely kind of comes together. Now you have a safety, one of the little blade safeties on your trigger. That way, if you're not hitting that little safety and have a full grip, it's not going to accidentally go off. You got to really have your finger pad on the trigger for it to fire. Now down here at the magazine, there is a small lip, and that way if you have any kind of malfunctions where the magazine gets jammed, it gives you a cutout in the frame and then a little bit of a lip on the magazine, so it makes it fairly easy to pull out. The magazines, when you hit the release, they jettison out. So you're able to get those things free and enter a fresh magazine. And then here we have the 13 round magazine, which it does give you more of a full grip, but it's a little bit more difficult to conceal. So, this gives you the best. It really helps to have this maybe in your pocket and then your standard 11 round magazine in the pistol. Very clean lines on the sides. I mean, there's very little, and of course there's no ambidextrous controls, but this is a concealable firearm, and since your safety is built into your trigger, you don't have a frame safety, which I really like. Now you have a memory pad right here, and Taurus calls this the recoil management pad. So it's not necessarily that you're just resting your finger on the other side to make sure you keep your finger out of the trigger. When you're firing the pistol, you actually rest your thumb on that pad, and it again mitigates the recoil. It helps you to have better control over the firearm. When I first started this, it took me a little while to get used to it, but once I started utilizing this little pad, it really made a difference with the grip on the firearm with more control over it. And so while this is there on a lot of pistols, it was really nice for Taurus to come out and actually identify, placing your thumb there to give you an advantage. Now there's no accessory rail. It's a very small little section right here, but they do make a couple of options that'll fit to the trigger guard. There is a laser setup. There are a couple of different things that you can actually get if you want that. While the bore axis is not super low, it's not bad. In fact, it's a little bit lower than the Sig P365. Now, Taurus released their G3C just recently, and this is their Toro model, so you can put a red dot on this. And this is a 12+1 compared to an 11+1, and yet it's a much smaller firearm. So for concealed carry, optimal would be the GX4. But one of the things about some of these pistols to not forget is that these are easier to shoot. They're larger, they feel your hand a little better. There's typically less muzzle flip. And so there's still a place for the G3C and definitely the G3. And they can accept larger capacity magazines as well. Let's go ahead and drop our magazine. Again, we're going to check the trigger action. We have that flat face geometry. So we depress our trigger safety, bring it in. Guys, once you hit that wall, it really does break. It's not a super crisp break, but just like with the original GX4, it was really nice, that trigger pull, especially for a striker fire pistol. Reset, right there. We're going to check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 6 pounds, 0.8 ounces. 5 pounds, 14 ounces. So around the 6 pound mark. Honestly, with the original GX4, we were getting about 5.5 pounds. Now, matching it up with the Sig P365, just want to get a good idea of the size because it's kind of the benchmark. Very close, back to back. The GX4 is actually just a touch smaller in the slide length. And here with the grip, 10+1, 11+1. At the front, it's the same, but then it kind of comes back at the back. And again, you can get a lot of different extended magazines for either one of these. And the width on the GX4 may be a touch thicker. And if you're looking for more of the budget side of the Micro 9s, I would probably compare this really close to the Ruger Max 9. This is an excellent firearm. We've done a full review on it. But, you know, pretty much the same all the way around. This is optics ready as well. You have a fiber optic sight on the front. And I believe this is also a tritium. And it does have a white circle around it. And then again, the Taurus comes in with a little bit lower bore axis. But here at the grip, it's just a touch thicker. But it's also a little bit shorter. And the trigger has some take up. Now, it's not a bad brake, but there is some resistance before you hit the brake. And it's really smooth, actually. But I think that the GX4 has a little bit more of a definite brake, even than the Ruger Max 9, which I'm a fan of the Ruger Max 9. I mean, this is a great little pistol. So really, it's probably up in the air, and the best thing to do is when you get to your local gun shop is just to compare the two and see which one fits your hand better. And we really appreciate Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made right here in the USA, and one of the largest suppliers of ammunition in the country. And we're going to be shooting some 115 grain full metal jacket, and we're using the Lula loader to load these mags. And one of their new colors, you can't lose this one, but this will save your thumbs. I'd already shot quite a bit with the original GX4, so I kind of knew what to expect. But with the red dot, I wanted to see how the natural grip really fit the dot. And again, it co-witnessed with those sights, so it was really easy to pick up. The only problem with the dot is it was so bright. I had to really tone it down. And as it's gotten a little bit darker, it made it really nice to be able to see that dot. It wasn't such a large bloom because it is a 6 MOA dot, so it's pretty large. But you want that with a handgun. But it held up very well, shot very well. The grip, I love that grip. I like the way it fits in your hand. It's one of those things that really gives you a lot of control over it. Again, with that memory pad at the front, that recoil management pad, I was able to keep my hand on that. That rough texture reminds you about it. So when you put it into your hand, you just kind of nestle it right there. But the recoil is just really mild with this firearm. Again, I think it has to do with that stainless steel chassis because it just rides very smooth. And then the double recoil springs, it's just a good shooting gun. And a lot of times with these small little Micro 9s, they are pretty snappy. The Sig P365 has some snap to it. This does not have as much snap as the 365, in my opinion. I mean, the trigger's nice. It's not a super crisp brake, but it's a definite brake. There's that take up, and then there's the wall, and then you hit the trigger. A lot of times you'll pull in that take up, and then you have a little bit of resistance, and then you hit that brake. With this, it's right to the wall, and then pow. And so it really allows for good accuracy, which we found out. And when it comes to accuracy, guys, it really performed well. It was shooting just a little bit to the left, but I didn't line up my sights for windage. I only aligned them for elevation. If I would have really done that ahead of time, I think we would have been just one solid group. And this actually shot better than the original GX4. It's funny, in the video I even said, I hope Taurus will hear this and fix it. And maybe they did, but I doubt it. Now for disassembly, let's drop our magazine, check the chamber. There are some things about the interior that are important to check out. It really shows the GX4 has some advantages over some of the other pistols. Now right here you'll notice the takedown lever. You can use a spent shell or a screwdriver, and you want to turn that counterclockwise and then till it actually snaps right here, and it'll come loose just a touch. But next, you need to pull the trigger, and then you can pull the slide right off. Now, before we get to the barrel, I want to show this stainless steel chassis. Guys, this thing is just excellent. The long rails, it's really going to allow this slide to have more stability over the frame. And I'm not sure if this is removable or not. A lot of them have the modular systems where you can remove it. It doesn't really say anything about it in the owner's manual. But it is a really well-finished piece. And again, it is stainless steel. Now we have our recoil spring and guide rod. It is a double recoil spring, and it is captive, and it's metal. And then we just pull out our 3-inch barrel. That black nitride is really slick, and it's really nice. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. Let's take a look at the slide. Striker fire, definitely basic striker fire stuff. But the finish is actually not too bad on the interior. Now for reassembly, just drop in your barrel, recoil spring and guide rod. And then we're going to bring it back over our frame. Now you'll notice that as soon as I pull that back, the takedown lever goes back into the right place. Now let's throw in a magazine, test for function, and we're good to go. While the takedown lever is a little bit different, I like that it retains inside the firearm. I'm not a big fan of those pins that come out because they can get lost. Now these do come with an extra back strap, and I believe this is the large, and installed is the small. You're going to have your optics cover plate that's already installed, but really easy to take on and off, and that way you can decide if you want to carry the red dot or you want to go with straight sights. You have that option. Comes with a hard case with the Taurus logo embossed. Open it up. Of course, you have your pistol, your 13+1 magazine, your back strap, you have your cover plate, and you have a little nice GX4 keychain. Also, we have a lock and the manual with extra paperwork. The retail price on the Taurus GX4 TORO is $468.18. That does not include the Holosun. And again, there's a ton of different options that you can fit. It does have a lifetime warranty. There was a little time there where Taurus suspended that, but they got right back on it. And while all the parts are made in Brazil, the guns are assembled in Bainbridge, Georgia. As far as pros and cons, first off, it's a great price. You know, for $468 retail, typically market price does run a little bit less. I love the grip style. You know, it's different, but man, when you're shooting it, this really makes a pretty big difference. 11+1 and of course your 13+1 being optics ready. I love that the sights co-witness with the red dot. Seems like the recoil on this pistol is just really low. Low recoil, easy to shoot. Would be great to keep confidence, especially with this grip, and you bring it in a decently low bore axis, and so you know those are all pros. The stainless steel chassis is definitely something that I really like, and I think those extended slide rails make a difference with the smooth operation. I like this memory pad. That's a great option as well. As far as cons go, I mean the triggers, I really like the trigger, but yet you know it's still a little bit mushy. There's not really a super crisp break. The matte finish on here, where you know it's supposedly very durable, I find that matte finishes a lot of times scuff really easy, but we haven't had that problem yet, but of course time will tell to see about that. It is a budget-friendly firearm, which is a big plus. You know, and with the lifetime warranty, if you even have any issues, you know, Taurus is going to take care of it. And now that they have operations here in the U.S., it makes it much easier, and to me, the quality control has stepped up quite a bit. So I think overall, Taurus really hit a home run with the GX4 and now with the TORO. I mean, this is just an excellent firearm, whether you're on a budget or not. So guys, it's great to see a lot of different choices. Again, we live in the golden age of firearms. There are so many different pistols in whatever configuration you're looking for. But for concealed carry, having 11+1 in a very small package that's optics ready, and then at a very budget price that still competes with guns that are twice the price. So check out the Taurus GX4 TORO, especially if you're looking for that optics ready. If you don't care, the standard GX4 is a great little pistol. Again, Taurus is really up their game, and it's great to see it. The more competitors we have out on the market, the more choices and the better quality that we're going to get. And again, I want to thank Taurus for sending the GX4 TORO. Taurus means bull, Toro means bull. But as far as the performance of this gun, there's no bull. Except strong like bull. Guys, check out Sportsman's Guide for all kind of accessories, shooting, hunting, camping, military surplus from all over the world. It's one of my go-to sources, and you get $20 off for every $100 or more purchase using SOOTCH, S-O-O-T-C-H in the coupon code. And if you're a member of their buyers club, you get free shipping. And that really comes in handy when you're ordering jerry cans. So check out Sportsman's Guide, great resource. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. Where you don't break the bank to make sure you have your self-defense covered. Okay. And just slide it vertically. Horizontally. It is horizontal. And pow, and pow, and pow. And then we're going to throw in our magazine. Now it comes with a really nice hard case with the Taurus logo on. Comes with a really nice hard case. Comes with a hard case with Taurus, which I wasn't super impressed with. And those Canadian geese just want to be in this video. Hey guys, what's up? Just hope they don't poop on me. I don't even know where I was.